So what's going on?
Well, I think for now we're,
Hi, I'm Rick Santangelo. I've been working for KQED for over 25 years, and I'm a union member, NABET, Local 51. And we're here today because they have stopped doing local television. They don't think television is alive anymore, so they're doing podcasts and they're doing events. They're doing all kinds of what they think is content for the public, but they're not doing any television. And so the only show we're doing right now is Check Please, and it's only one show a year. That's it. One show, one series a year. They stopped all local news. No more local news. So we're just trying to get the word out that the public, the Bay Area public, really wants local television back. And so we're hoping that management will listen and resume doing local television.
And KQED used to be famous, the newsroom. It used to have a great reputation for news. You have over 100 reporters. How come there's no news?
They decided to cancel that show. I guess they weren't getting enough viewership. So they canceled it. Instead of fixing it, which they could have done, they've canceled Newsroom. So now we have no local news on television.
And you're bargaining on other issues. There have been layoffs. What's going on with the negotiations, and has the effect of the budget cuts had any issue at KQED?
Yes. The budget cuts, of course, have really slowed them down, and they're using that as a reason why they want to cut back on us. They came up with a proposal about if we do new programs, any new television programs, there are a lot of things that they want us to give up to do those television.
Such as?
Like instead of an 8-hour minimum call for freelancers, they want to do a 4-hour minimum call. They want to make another tier for pay, so they want to lower the pay. There's other things that they want to do to be able to produce what they say is efficiently, but they've been able to produce programs efficiently for years. Now suddenly they want to cut us back because they have misspent the funds, and now they're in trouble financially.
And they have a big budget, a large budget. How many members do you have here?
We have about 60 union members here at KQED.
And they've had layoffs?
There have been 4 union members laid off, but they laid off 41 other non-union people, yes, at KQED.
And what is the budget of KQED?
It's over $95 million, as far as I remember.
They can't afford a news program
No.
on TV? $95 million?
They can, they just choose not to. That's the issue.
And is it appointed board or elected board? How's the board chosen?
It's appointed. It used to be that you would elect them. They changed the bylaws so that they don't have to have elections. Now they just appoint them, their friends and other.
Oh, are there any labor representatives on the board?
No, there are none.
Walter Johnson, the former head of the Labor Council, used to be on the board.
Used to be, not anymore.
You think there should be a labor representative?
Absolutely, and we're talking to them about that we would like to negotiate a position on the board. Of course, the board makes the decision. They have their bylaws, but we are hoping that they will listen and open it up to a union member or a labor representative on the KQED Board of Directors.
And what can members do at KQED and about getting support for the unionized workers here and a news program on KQED?
Right now we're having people sign a petition and tell management that they would like local television again. We used to do a different show every night of the week. So 5 nights a week we had a locally produced television show for years. And then they one by one stopped doing those shows. Now we're down to just one, Check Please Bay Area, only one time a week. And there's only 12 or 13 shows per year that are new, so the rest are all reruns.
Well, a lot of these reporters are already doing reporting on the radio end of KQED. Why not have it on the TV end?
That's a really good question. They could have reporters doing television, but they're not. See, when we do Check Please, we shoot it with our union crew for television, and then it goes on the web, it goes on the internet, so it has a life beyond that. So if KQED management likes the internet so much, which is fine, why don't they do other programs, shoot them for television first with our union crew, and then put them on the web? They could do that, but they choose not to do that.
So it's a choice, you're saying?
It's a choice. It's a definite choice where they decide to use non-union people to do podcasts because we don't have jurisdiction over podcasts. So they get around the union by hiring all these non-union people to do basically the same work we do. We do video, audio, right? We do editing. All the work that we do is now being done by non-union people, but it won't go on television because they have to be a union member to do that work on television. So it goes to a podcast instead.
Is that union busting?
I would think that's definite union busting, yes.
So they don't want to have union members do the work of TV?
They do not, and they've been slowly reducing our numbers over the years, but yet hiring many, many non-union people over the years. That's what's happening.
And has that been brought up to the board?
Well, we're here today to get an ear with the board, to talk to the board, because we're not really, we're not on the board. So we're hoping to contact the board and let them know what's going on.
Can't block the.
Carrie Biggs Adams. I'm the president of NABET CWA Local 59051, the people who represent the workers here. Since January, it's been pretty obvious that there was going to be an effort to take away money.
Yeah.
They lost $8 million, and they didn't prepare for that. They did layoffs during the summer. They laid off $13 million worth of people, and in bargaining, they want only cuts. And we really are demanding that they make local television, because they make 6.5 hours of television a year. A year.
Isn't that amazing?
I have local television stations that make more than that each day.
And they still don't have a news department, right, Steve?
They only in radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have no
What
news.
are these big TV studios? What are they doing with them here?
They use one for live events, and otherwise they're empty.
A waste of.
Waste of geographical space, talent, skills. Oh, and they have an FCC license to serve the public in the San Francisco Bay Area. How are you serving the public here in the Bay Area?
Good question.
Well, our viewers like the programming we have on. Look, I like Call the Midwife as much as the next person, but it's not made here. It's not made in San Francisco. And it doesn't tell me or teach me anything about the problems of the San Francisco Bay Area.
And they have a lot of reporters on the radio side that are actually doing that.
Oh, they talk about how they have 105 journalists. And how many in television? 0.
Somehow they're allergic to television.
Yeah, well, they decided television was over.
Well, they had.
And they don't recognize the fact that there are plenty of stations making lots of money with local television.
Big business.
And that is what people will watch. I fight with a big corporation called Nexstar that already owns 220 local television stations around the country. They make local news in all their markets. They make a huge profit. But these folks are making no television, and then they don't have television pledge anymore because they don't think anybody watches. So they should probably just give that spectrum back to somebody who would make local television. But I'm giving it one last big try in bargaining that they have to make local television.
And what can supporters of KQED do who want to see a news program? The old newsroom?
Call KQED and tell them that they should be making local television.
What about coming to the board?
Coming to the board meeting, absolutely, but this is the first board meeting since March.
We're trying to get people.
They don't have monthly board meetings?
No.
I guess that's a corporate board.
Corporate boards meet more often than that.
How does KQED compare to other PBS stations like,
Pick one.
WGBH? How much programming do they produce?
Oh,
News programming?
huge numbers.
What's the difference between Boston and San Francisco?
The decision to make television. The decision to make content. Frontline is made at WGBH. You can make content that you can sell and share with people all over the country in syndication. And in so doing, you will make money because those stations will pay you for it.
They used to have a film department here.
They have the archives, but
Irving Saraf was head of that department. Mm-hmm. His wife's still alive.
They just don't visualize television. Now, they are finally hiring an executive to be in charge of making television.
Oh, good.
But the person's not hired yet, so they can't really go any further into the concept of making content.
So these reporters that are reporting on the radio side,
Right.
They could be reporting on a TV show, couldn't they?
Absolutely. They go to the story, we could send a camera person with them, and then we would have a news story for television.
That would get an audience.
It would. It's not that hard to make television. I've been making television for almost 50 years. I'm pretty sure they could do it.
With the technology, it's a lot easier.
With the technology, it's a lot easier than it was 30, 40, 50 years ago.
So people should contact them and let them know?
Contact them and let them know that they want to see local television, local programming. We have pitched a couple of television shows to them, shown them how to make them. We're not looking for royalties, we're looking for work. We recognize that they haven't had ideas on how to make television, so we've been suggesting this is how you do it.
And what about the effects of the attack on PBS and NPR? What is the future?
They lost $8 million a year in money that they were getting from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting through the federal government that had already been approved. That was lost in the Rescission Act. Obviously, we haven't seen the budget bill for 2026 yet. That fiscal year starts October 1st. And we are still pushing in Washington that money be put back in to fund local stations.
And a lot of local stations in rural communities have been affected. I mean, that's
Hugely affected, and we know that the local television stations are the way people get news. They get the warnings about the fire, the flood, the earthquake, and they need to be doing that and paying for all of those stations nationwide. You know, the amount of money that it costs to have that budget come out of the federal government was $1.67 per person in the country. It's not a lot of money, but there are 330 million of us, and that's a lot of money.
they seem to have an ideological view that.
Oh God, they just have a view that they think it's progressive, that it's dangerous, that it's liberal. It's caused public broadcasting to take themselves to the right, moving to the center and not facing confrontational issues, which is a real problem.
They want to censor, sanitize.
They clean it up themselves. And of course, that's the cheapest way, right? If we self-censor, then they can't be accused of censoring from the federal government because the censorship was done by public broadcasting.
Self-censorship.
Self-censorship. But you look at the difference, KVIE and Sacramento, same part of California, Northern California, makes lots more local news every week, local content every week.
So it is happening.
It is happening, it can happen.
And other PBS stations around the country are being affected.
Oh, absolutely. Our union has been working on this problem since the spring when we saw the funding was going to be lost. So we fought against the rescission bills. And we're still fighting in Washington, trying to get money put into the budget for this coming year.
And the Trump government has also gone after reporters. Are you concerned?
Oh, they've gone after reporters, producers. Now they say they're going after liberal groups. We know they've gone after unions. They wiped out the organizing rights and the union rights and contracts of over 1 million workers already. And we know they're coming for us. The National Labor Relations Board is pretty broken, and that's where we are supposed to go get our justice under the law.
So if there's no NLRB, they figure that companies can just...
Well, the companies have been filing in all of their cases saying that the NLRB is illegal and was never properly formed. Now, of course, this was cleared in 1935 by the Supreme Court, but they're trying it again in hopes that they can take the issue back to the Supreme Court and that this court will let them eliminate the NLRB.
What would that mean for working people and unions?
Well, here in California, the good news is we have a bill that passed the legislature, and I hope will be signed by the governor in this little signing window that we have right now, that says the state public employee board, the PERB, would take over the NLRB rights if the NLRB is ruled illegal. But that doesn't help people in the rest of the country. It doesn't help on national contracts, where I have California issues that also happen to happen in other cities.
So is there any campaign nationally around getting these laws passed in other states?
There are a couple of states trying, and I think we'll know more if we see whether this California bill is signed or not. I saw the Trump administration sued New York just today, saying that they're trying to take away the NLRB's responsibilities. No, they just said they'd do it if the NLRB couldn't.
Do you think that this government, the Trump government, really wants unions at all? Because Project 2025 as?
Project 2025 definitely wanted to get rid of unions, get rid of workers' rights, any rights that might get in the way of the divine right of kings, which is pretty much what they seem to want. I don't know if you've watched any of the video today from London, but riding around in a horse-drawn carriage with red coats on top of it and marching around it, with the King of the UK and the King of the United States together, is pretty scary stuff.
You think that there's a correlation?
I really do see a correlation. Trump loves the pomp and circumstance. Look at his stupid birthday party. You know, it cost, what, $80 million to have a badly attended, not very good parade?
But he can't fund public.
He doesn't want to fund anything that's going to support people. We're going to see the cuts to health care. We've seen all the cuts that went through the Rescission Act. They just haven't hit people yet because we haven't hit the fiscal year in which they're targeted. I was listening to a piece last night about the money that's being taken away from public health care programs and health care studies. Study that has been 10 years in the making. And close to great breakthroughs, but suddenly unfunded and thrown out. And there go those workers, there go those studies. You can't stop them and then pick back up. And it's human beings who are the subjects of those tests.
People are going to die because they can't get.
People are going to die because they're stopping in the middle of a test, or because they're not going to conclude these research breakthroughs that are very close.
It's a life and death issue for people.
It is life and death for people, just like when Doge first started cutting things off and they left medical devices in people when they defunded studies. How in the hell do you do that?
It's a crime, it seems.
It really is a crime, and it's these people who don't think they have to care about any other human being. I guess Elon Musk cares about his offspring, but that's about it. So long as they live in his compound.
They could have said, let's stop and let's revamp the show. Instead, they just cut it, canceled it, and now there's no local television, local news on television. Radio's doing great. Radio has all kinds of local stuff, but TV, they've given up on TV.
Yeah. And then I was reading the petition, and how have they moved jobs? I was reading about you all took up the fight over it.
Oh, so that was totally illegal. So they, our master control, where we put the shows on the air, right? So when you watch a show, it's because we're putting it up there. They decided they're going to outsource that to New Jersey, where they can pay people less money, and it was not union and all that. And they thought they can do that because there's a clause about automation. So then we said, no, you can't do that. So we grieved it. I'm on the grievance committee. We grieved it, and then we pushed it to arbitration. We were like, nope, we can do that. So we went to arbitration, and we won. The arbitrator said, yes, you can't do that. That's against contract. If you are automating it here at KQED, that's different. But you're hiring a company that's doing the automation, not you, and that's illegal. So that was it. So we won the arbitration. But the people took buyouts before the arbitration, so they were all gone. And the arbitrator said, well, I'm not going to make you unwind, is the word he used. I'm not going to make you unwind the work that's sent to New Jersey, to Centralcast, the company, which means KQED kind of won, because now, right now, today, non-union people are doing our jobs, even though we won the arbitration.
How many people did this?
6 people took buyouts, and 1 person was moved to a different area, and then 3 freelance people are not working. So,
Yeah, so the work is outsourced effectively.
yes,
Because
to non-union people.
yeah.
Yep. So there you go. That's what's happened.
So CWA should organize it.
CWA?
Should organize New Jersey.
Oh yeah, well, right, yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, I don't know. If that,
How's NABET being affected by these cutbacks at public broadcasting?
well, we just, like I said, we just lost some people because of outsourcing that KQED is doing. But they're also looking at us as we negotiate to not take raises over the next 2 years is what they're asking. It's not in writing yet, but they're asking us to not take our raise. So there's that.
So no raises for 2 years.
Is what they're hoping for. Well, they spent a lot of money on the rebuild. They did.
How much do they spend?
Well, we are guessing 120 million. I think they were saying 95, but I think it's of course gone up. So I think every time you do a construction project, it goes over budget, over time, right? And so I'm sure that happened here because this is a big deal. They completely gutted the entire building, moved us out, did all this work to rebuild it over a year and a half and then moved us back.
What's your
It cost a lot of money.
Yeah.